Learning how to avoid plagiarism can sometimes be difficult, but in this video you will learn some simple strategies to help you give appropriate credit to other writers. When in doubt, quote your source. The first strategy to help you avoid plagiarizing is to use direct quotation. Of course, if you're referring to another person's ideas, you can use a paraphrase where you put their ideas in your own words and credit the other person's ideas through citation. However, if your paraphrases only change one or two words, then you run the risk of plagiarizing. For example, let's say this is the text from the original source. Postmodernism radically decenters and destabilizes meaning through multi-vectored approaches to signification. Since there's a lot of technical language here, it might be best to reproduce the exact quotation in our writing and then go on to explain what we think the quotation means. If we were using the Modern Language Association's style guide, a direct quotation would look like this. Quote, postmodernism radically decenters and destabilizes meaning through multi-vectored approaches to signification, end quote, Barnes 67. The quotation marks tell us that everything between them is taken word for word from a source. The citation at the end of the sentence tells us that the author's last name is Barnes and she wrote this sentence on page 67. Now, note this formulation. Postmodernism decenters and destabilizes meaning through approaches to signification, Barnes 67. Even though we're giving Barnes credit here, and the sentence is not the exact sentence drawn from Barnes' work, this is not a paraphrase. We have not put Barnes' words into our own words. We just deleted a few words. The remaining ideas and words are still Barnes's. As written, this would be an instance of plagiarism. In cases where you're not comfortable paraphrasing, then use a quotation and proper citation, making sure that you explain to your readers what the quotation says and means. Another strategy to help avoid plagiarism involves figuring out when knowledge is common knowledge. Give credit unless it is common knowledge, but when in doubt, see strategy 1. All of our ideas come from somewhere, so sometimes students get overwhelmed trying to decide what to credit and what to count as common knowledge. We don't have to credit common knowledge, but common knowledge, like plagiarism, is a tricky concept. What is common knowledge for one group of people may not be common for another group of people. In general, you can ask two simple questions to determine if something counts as common knowledge and does not need to be cited. In general, you can ask two simple questions to determine if something counts as common knowledge and does not need to be cited. Will all or most members of your audience already know the information? After all, being part of a particular community is, to a degree, sharing a particular body of knowledge and practices as common knowledge and practices. If your audience all knows a particular bit of information, it can seem inappropriate or redundant to credit a source for that information. Can you find this information in multiple different places? If you can find the information in multiple contexts, and these contexts differ, then it is probably common knowledge and you do not need to credit it. Remember, these are tips, not rules. These are a few tips to determine if something counts as common knowledge, and they are not meant to be taken as rules or to be understood as exhaustive. Remember, too, that even if something is common knowledge, if you are borrowing someone else's words to describe that common knowledge, you must credit that person's words through quotation. When in doubt, quote your source. As you continue writing and learning about writing, you will gain a better sense of how to avoid plagiarism. For now, remember that when you're in doubt, you can always use direct quotation to avoid plagiarism.